back to another video, and we're back with Kory, and today he was at our non-meta tournament and got second with a really weird build called...
Undefeated, only lost because of the matchups.
Yeah.
I got a bye.
Yeah, and he got second with...
Cancer.
This is assault mode Psy-Frame.
I regret making this, but I love it at the same time. Alright, so pretty quickly, the extra deck I am still working on, but it worked flawlessly for what I needed today. It gave me plenty of options to do what I needed, and the only thing I think I could do better with this is possibly find more ways to get my my Psy-Frame field spell up, because terraforming, metaverse, and set rotations actually are not enough. But it works pretty well. I just need to find a way to get the field spell up without committing to a normal summon, because I need that normal summon in this deck. Alright, so let's begin. Alright, so to begin with, back under there. To begin with, run 3 Psy-Reflectors. He's your key piece. He opens up all your synchros, he does everything you need. Also the sheer fact that when you use his effect to get the beast, bring out beast, you can use him and beast if you have other Psy-Frames in your hand and field spell up. You can go into Lambda, so if they try to activate anything, you can synchro it, then use your assault mode to activate to just bring it out on their turn, which is cancerous. But it worked. Then his Searcher, 3 Assault Sentinel. He searches out Reflector exactly the way I need him to. The only downside is you can only synchro summon after that, so if you do use him, you're not going into Lambda, you're kind of sort of shutting off your Psy-Frames, but the nice part about Assault Mode Stardust is it bounces itself off the field to open your field. So it's not the worst, but it's also not the best. But yeah, he's just your Rhoda for, your respect for him. Kind of like a 1-for-1. It's kind of nice. Just don't get ashed. Next, I run 3 Assault Beast. I'm running the 3 just because of the searching. Yes, I only do run 2 of the Stardust Assault modes in here, but I will also use these guys for extra synchro plays if I'm going off of Reflector into this to bring it out. Keep the 3rd one in my hand so I can just keep bringing him out every time I go into this. For just like Omega, as I can go into any of my level 7s, my level 8s, and I can possibly wreck board even if I can't go into another assault mode. Speaking of, the 2. I was gonna run it at 3. I'm so glad I did not. You do not ever want to see this card in your hand. Ever. You don't want it in your hand. Just, you know. And that's all for the monsters for the assault modes. Next comes for Psy-Frames. Regular package, 3 Gamma, 3 Delta, 3 Alpha, and in this build I really only needed 2 Beta, because it's searchable through Alpha, and if you have Lambda up, it's just a blanket protection, but at the same time, if you have nothing and you have this, you at least have something to stop them for another turn. That's why you only need 2, plus I needed an extra level 1 Psychic Tuner for a card you'll see later. And then obviously 2 Driver. Yes, I'm running 5 bricks in this deck. You have not seen the 5th one yet. But the pain of my existence is right here. This is the biggest problem, is these bricks. Next, 3 of the Psy-Frame field spell. It's still a Psy-Frame deck. Kind of at heart. They switch back and forth, they complement each other, but you still want the 3 because you want to be able to set this up with Lambda and stuff like that. Or worst case scenario, just have this up with 2 with your assault modes on field, so when they bounce you can activate your other effects and go off that way. But you want the 3. Next, 3 Called by the Grave. Like I said, you don't want to get ashed in this deck. You really don't. Veiler, Ash, all hurts. That's why you want this. You run 3. Run the 3. Just do it. Just do it. And then 2 Psychic Field Zone. This was kind of a last minute addition, but I realized that if I'm going to be popping off with a Psy-Frame trap to just banish random stuff, or if like I can't synchro someone for whatever reason and my drivers are stuck in the banish zone, these are a great way to get them out. So you kind of always want to keep these in here. You can run less, you can run none if you really want to. But it did come in handy today. It got me the Omega, got me what I needed, so I recommend it. And then a card that literally broke this deck, Telekinetic Power Well. Level 2 or lower psychic type monsters from the grave for 300 per level. You can go into Bane, Crystal Wing, you can go into a weird little Zeta combo where you use your, or if you like have a Gamma in the graveyard, You bring it all out. You use Reflector down here to bring out Assault Beast by revealing one of the assault modes you'll hopefully still have in your hand. And you bring that out. That way you can synchro into a level 7. Bring out Zeta. Use the last level 1 to synchro into Crystal Wing. So you now can bring back that Gamma again. And if you have Lambda up, that's just another negate for you. And this card low-key breaks this deck. E-Telly, Reflector, all my Psy-Frames, whatever I need it for. It brings out all of the cards I could possibly want for my tuners. And this is also a 1-card assault mode as well. The amount of 1-card assault modes I run in here. Next, 1-for-1, also a 1-card assault mode. You're just bringing out Reflector or one of your level 1 Psy-Frames if you really need to. And then Gateway of Chaos. I have Black Garden in my side to switch out for this in case I'm not really running a deck that's really field spell reliant. But I like to set rotation, give this to them, so that they're kind of just sitting there with the card they can't activate. It's just helpful in that way. That's literally all for that card. Terraforming, set rotation, and I'm going to toss in the Metaverse even though I don't normally do traps and spells. Just the field spell searchers. This card can lock down fields, my opponent's field zone if I really needed to. The only downside you have to be really careful with this is you are semi-reliant on your own field spell, so if they pop it, it can hurt because they can't activate that Gateway to Chaos, which means it's going to stay stuck on the field. You can't do anything. But yeah, just field spell searchers. And then next, this is an assault mode deck. Run the 3, because after you've already run through your extra 2, you're going to keep the 3rd one in your hand so you can go with more Psy-Reflector combos to be able to just kind of loop some more level 8 synchros, bring out maybe a link or 2, but this card comes in clutch. I would say run 2, but like I said, usually you want the 3rd so you can use his effect. And then last 2 traps, I run 2 of the Overload because it's still probably one of the best archetypal trap cards I've ever seen in a game. Banishes anything, searches the entire Psy-Frame archetype. Just you don't have to run 2. I just do because I like having targeting pops, target banish face down, and sometimes it does struggle with a set up board. But at the same time, this is kind of helps you pick it apart. So if you have extra Psy-Frames in your hand you really can't use, or like you really need to stop something, this card's usually good for that. But I recommend running the 2, just cause. Next, for the extra deck, 1 second, let me get this stuff out of the way. I run 1 Dragster. Didn't go into him at all today, but he's there just in case I need a spell negate. Along with Black Rose, this is just your manual reset button. You can go into level 7s really easily in this deck, so sometimes just being able to nuke the board kind of screws over your opponent. It didn't need to use it today, but there were a couple situations where I almost had to, so I'm just glad I had it. And then for the last level 7s is 1 Zeta, just because there's some gross combos with this in the Psy-Frames where you go into Crystal Wing, or you can go into even Hot Red Dragon Archer and Abyss, you have 2 extra level 1s, and still get your Psy-Frame back. So it's just really helpful. I recommend running at least 1. I was running 2, but I pulled 1 out for Link Kuriboh because the amount of level 1s I have in here. And that's it for the level 7s. 2 Stardust Dragons. You only need 2. Because of the sheer fact that you're only going to bring out 2 of the assault modes over here. So you only really need 2, and if these guys die, they come back anyways. Was pretty consistent getting these guys out today. Usually the only problem I ever ran into was Ash, but I had the 2nd assault mode activate, so it was not a problem. It was kind of funny. I think that was against you, Ben. But yeah, so that's the Stardust. And then obviously it's a Psy-Frame deck. Run your Omega. Run the 1 Omega you still can before they get rid of it again. I'm gonna cry. Crystal Wing. Really easy to go into in this deck. Very easy to go into in this deck. Please go into it. It's funny. Extra monster negates. If you can't beat over something, this is usually your answer. Borreload Savage. You can go into it on your opponent's turn for extra negates with Psy-Frames if you have the links in the grave. I didn't go into it today, but that's just because I really didn't go into any of my links today. I mean, I would have if I did have link Rebo, but... And then you guys might remember this from the old Psy-Frame deck profiles. Scarlet, Red Dragon, Archfiend, and Abyss as well. Going into these two, usually he's pretty good to go into in case you just need to sit on a monster because he's a blanket negate for pretty much anything that can be flipped face up on the field. I actually like going into him turn 1 if I can to make sure I don't get evenly matched. But I recommend running him. It's a decent card. And that's it for the synchros. Next comes the links. 1 link Rebo. Like I said, you have a lot of level 1s in here. It's helpful at times. 2 Lambda. This is Psy-Frames. You still want to go into Lambda when you can. If you can't, it's okay. She's not mandatory, but she is quite helpful. And she's got probably the best link arrows for link 2s that they can get. So next, I run the 1 Unicorn. Sometimes you just need a way to link up and just empty out more spots. And it is a downward arrow, so it can be helpful. Also, the fact that you can just shuffle anything is kind of helpful as well. And the last, Boral Sword, because sometimes you just need to end those games. And with Telekinetic Power Well, that's very easy. That's very easy to go into. I didn't go into it today, but that's just because there was no need. I already had game on board every time I could. But the deck is fairly consistent. Like I said, the only problem I saw was opening up this, the assault modes. I was thinking of Magical Mallet, but that's always a -1 no matter what you do. And you might redraw into them, which would make any grown man cry. But yeah, just getting to the field spell, and then the fact that I have to run 5 bricks with 2 of the assault modes, 2 of the drivers, and then 1 of the Gateway to Chaos. That's pretty much the only deal I have with this deck. But if you're not running into any of those in your hand, you're sitting pretty. You can attack and just keep controlling the board until they have nothing left and they're top decking against 2 assault modes, which is always funny. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I put this together literally last night in a manic fit, and it worked pretty well. So, have yourselves a great day, and if you want to build it to your heart's content and enjoy. Have a good day.